Thijs Nijhuis. He is one of the fastest marathon runners in Denmark. He ran the World Cup in Doha. He ran the Olympics in Tokyo, and then he ran a marathon in Seville in 2020, where he set his personal best at 2 hours, 10 minutes and 57 seconds. That's absurd fast. And then he's an Adidas athlete, so he really knows what he talks about when he talks about Adidas shoes and running. I gathered 3 pairs of Adidas shoes I want to talk about with him. Thijs, first, why is it a good idea to have several running shoes to switch between?
When you run a lot, it's very important you have different shoes because the midsole, when you run in it, it becomes tiny and flat and tired, and it needs a couple of hours, maybe a day or two actually, to recover. Just like runners need to recover for a day or two. So it's good to change it up a little bit, especially if you run back-to-back days. The other thing is that if you keep your foot and your muscles in the same shoe always, I mean, it's nice and comfortable, but you don't get any new stimuli. And once in a while, you need to challenge your muscles and your feet to not to get too adapted, because it will actually help with minimizing the risks of getting an injury. So that's why at least like 2 pairs or 3 pairs would be good. And if you run as much as I do, it will be like maybe 8 pairs.
Yeah, but if you run, let's say 3 or 4 times a week, is it still a good idea to have different shoes to switch between?
I'll definitely have 2 pairs for sure. I mean, if I run 3 or 4 times a week, 2 pairs for training and maybe a faster shoe for tempos or for races. So yeah, that would be my recommendation for sure.
I brought 3 shoes, and let's start out with the Adidas Ultraboost 22.
Yes.
Which kind of shoe is this?
This is a trainer. It's the shoe I will use for easy run when I don't have to think about pace. It's a very comfortable shoe. I mean, it's a neutral shoe, but it's a lot of stability with a lot of cushioning. The Boost foam here is very nice, and it's very soft when you get your foot into it. It's lovely. And then the upper, I mean, it's one of the main features of this shoe. It's kind of sock-like. You just like swoop into it. The shoe is forming your foot and not the other way around. Especially when you're in warmer weather, sometimes your feet expand a bit, and you can get friction and blisters and stuff like that. And that's the last thing you want as a runner, especially if you're on a holiday, right?
Yeah.
And then this material, actually, I'll take the shoe from you. You can actually see how the upper can deform a little bit, also to the sides here, but without it being too loose, because if it's just too tiny knitted, then I mean the upper becomes too loose.
Yeah.
But you don't have it with this one. It's kind of the perfect fit. And then the heel is the other thing. I have a little bit of troubles with like a bony heel.
Yeah.
And once in a while I get a little bit sore around my Achilles and my bursa. But with this heel cap, it's a little bit deformable. So it has the stability on the outer edges, and then it has a little bit of a softer heel cap in the middle, just so it's able to deform towards like how your foot is formed, which is good, I think at least. And then it has a pretty good grip, and it's stable with a little bit of like harder plastic under the bottom. So a really good everyday trainer. You
Cool.
agree?
I agree, totally. And I really agree about the upper. It's like a sock. It's very comfortable. And then the second shoe, the Boston 10.
Yes.
Which kind of shoe is this?
Depends on who you are. For me personally, it's a shoe I would use for my long run, because if I'd go for a long run like 30 to 40k, I become tired at the end. I think most people would. But at the end of the run, you kind of still want to feel a little bit good. So this shoe, again, it has some of the Light Strike Pro material. You can see it's like divided into 2. The Light Strike Pro is like the best material they have, the most responsive, the lightest material. And then you have the little firmer material or cushioning under here. And there's a lot of cushioning, so you don't wear out your legs too much. But it's still a really good shoe that feels you responsive. And one of the things that makes it this responsive is those carbon rods they put into it. So you have a little bit more of a toe off, especially when you start becoming tired. So genuinely a really good shoe. It could also, depending on who you are, this could also be a shoe for your first half marathon,
Yeah.
if you want to try something else than a regular trainer.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And also, when you use the competition shoes, they don't have that many kilometers in them.
Yeah, we would say if you should range the shoes, I mean, the Ultraboost could probably last you around by 800,000 kilometers before you should change it up. Because then, even though the outer is not completely worn out, the midsole will wear out. Whereas this shoe could probably have like 700-800K.
Yeah.
Whereas a faster racing flat would be down to maybe like 300 to 400 kilometers,
Yeah, agreed.
depending on who you are. For the money, you get more as well.
And then the last shoe I brought, the Takumi Sen 8. Can you put a few words on this shoe?
First two words that comes up to me is light and fast.
Yeah.
It's a racing flat. It's the new model that came out in December 2021. It's extremely light. It's extremely quick. Again, you can see like the material. It's the Light Strike Pro, the lightest and the fastest material from Adidas. And it also has we talked about the carbon rods under it. I'll show you here.
Yeah.
They even light up a little bit in this shoe, in this colorway. So you have a really light shoe with the best material you can get and some carbon for stability and toe off and to making the shoe more stiff. And then you have this Continental outer that gives you a really good grip. So for me, I ran my 10K PB in this shoe just a month ago, and you just feel extremely fast, and you can go around turns without feeling unsecure or feeling like you're wobbling. So it's really down to earth shoe that really works for, I would say, for a lot of people. And if you want to go for a 5 or 10K and you want a completely new experience compared to the other shoes, then I definitely recommend this shoe to everybody. It's fun to put on a shoe like this.
It's a really fun shoe, and when I find my intervals a little bit, it's hard to run intervals.
Yeah.
I put this one on because it gets fun.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's putting on a racing flat for training that motivates you.
Yeah.
You get that feeling of going like, oh yeah. Now it's go time. You can't run slow in these shoes.
No. Thank you, Thijs.
No problem.